So Collins, this is the other part of your farm.
Yeah.
And what are the varieties of crops that you've planted here? What informed the crops that you wanted to plant? And what are some of the techniques that you have employed in the farm?
You see, this small area, I niliweka kando. It's a tester. It's a tester for my projects. Number one, before I invest heavily, I test the plant or the whatever I want to farm that period according to now the statistics that I've taken. But then it has to come through here. If you see here.
Oh, so what you're saying is whatever you plant here is first to test it.
To test it, and then I do it large scale.
Large scale. Yes. And then now you transfer it to where you want it to grow.
Now I go and invest on the seed that I want.
Okay.
And now put it as a business, because agriculture is business.
Yes.
And you can't pump in to something that you don't know if it will make a return or not.
Or not.
Yes.
Okay, so if it succeeds on this farm,
yes,
then you know it is likely to give you returns.
Returns, yes.
And it is likely to produce well on this farm.
Produce very well, yes.
Okay.
For here, you see, I have, this is broccoli.
Yeah.
This broccoli, this will be like the 6th harvest. Tulikata tu juzi and imeweka tena. So if I want to put broccoli for my next season plantation, I put this specific type of seed.
What variety is the broccoli that you have planted?
Safari.
It's called Safari.
It's called Safari, yes.
What makes it more superior than the others that I've seen on other farms?
Okay, number one, haipati magonjwa. It's like the pests. It doesn't get the pests easily. And then their heads, it's big. So, and in in the market, people love something that looks quality. So its quality is very good and it doesn't like die easily. So that's why I am choosing. I have other varieties here. I'll show you, but I will go for Safari anytime for this specific area. Like for this region, because I'm not saying that the other seeds are bad,
but this is more valuable for you.
Here,
yes.
For here, yeah. And as you can see here, this is mahindi. And this is not mahindi ya kawaida. I came with this mahindi from where? Western. Hii ni mahindi ya ushago ile, the one that turns purple and pink and colorful maize. So I'm just trying to do the way I tried to do the Safari, different varieties, but Safari now is working for broccoli. That's the same thing I'm trying to do with that red cabbage and even the onions.
All right. Yeah. So you mentioned about the East African nightshade, and for our viewers, they locally call it managu.
Managu, yeah.
Somebody may take a bit of time trying to figure out what is East Africa nightshade. So we are talking about managu, yes. But I know it's one of the fastest growing, moving vegetable in our local market. Perhaps, how much do you roughly spend when it comes to planting until harvesting, and when you go to the market? Do you see the return? Is it a high value crop?
Managu is a highly valued crop because number one, it is considered, it's not even considered, it is an indigenous vegetable. And Kenyans love indigenous vegetable. And you see, mnavu or managu, as you can call it, you can just take a seed from the plant itself and transplant it. So it is natural. It's only that maybe people from East Africa or Simlo or other company, Royal, they take it and propagate it properly to avoid the diseases and stability, you see. But manavu is, or managu is very lucrative. And also it depends. It depends on how you plant it. In terms of how you plant it, and the way you plant it is the way you make money. You see, like for here, it's a transplant from a seed bed. But normally me, I don't plant like this, managu. I throw. I make a bed, a proper...
Like you do seed broadcasting. It's called seed broadcasting.
Yeah. We broadcast. And you see, when you broadcast, you sow a lot of seeds. But then, there's a secret here. Managu is a heavy feeder. If you don't feed it well, if you look at my farm, like here, the first things you pick is manure, mulch, and you see, this is manure. Because I invest heavily in manure. That's why you see this managu with this color. Otherwise, managu is a heavy feeder and it can kill your land before you know it.
Nice. And how long does it take for it to be ready for the market?
2 months.
2 months.
But if you cater for it very well, 1.5 months, you can get your first harvest. And after every 2 weeks, you can harvest after every 2 weeks for maybe 4 or 5 times.
And how do you source for your market? Do you perhaps promote maybe on your social media platforms? And do people come by here? Do you have to cater again for the logistics, taking them to the market? How do you go about that?
Now, remember at the studio, I told you we are a group of 5. And Kamau is the one who introduced me to Managu. And he has contacts. He tells you plant this, and he gives you the customer. Wow. And through that, that customer, you get another customer, and through that it's referrals. And once in a while, I post it on my social media, on my WhatsApp status, so that I can also sell it to my friends and family. And I'm also in groups. I don't post it on my main social media because people from my main social medias, they know about music. They don't know about the farming part.
Yes.
So I am in groups, farming groups on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. So I post whatever I have for sale there. But then, to be honest, this thing, hizi vitu zinajiuza because these bypassers, naenda nakutana na mtu huko anaambia kwa ras, you know, they call me ras.
Oh, kwa ras.
Kwa ras kuna kitu fulani, kuna kunde. You see, because my number is everywhere, you see. If you Google Collins Mutindi, the first thing that comes up is my number. So people contact me, they buy the whole thing. You see, customers is not a problem to me. So my wife she has groupies. Her groupie also. Unasikia mtu anakuambia nitumie mboga ya 10k, nitumie mboga ya 15k. You see, there are people, her friends are those people who buy large amount of mboga, prepare them, freeze them. You see, because there are people on the move always, and they have families. So if you have something good, they buy large, prepare them, steam, and maybe freeze them. So also my wife brings a lot of customers. Like for the cabbage, it was only one call from my wife's phone, and someone came and took all 8,000 cabbages. You see, so the people around me bring in customers. So yeah, I don't struggle on that.
And how has the experience been so far? For how long have you been doing this, and what are the future dreams when it comes to farming?
3.5 years since I ventured into this, and it looks like I'm going fully into this because this thing is paying. You see, up country I have 4.7 acres. That is slightly more than 4.5 acres. I do maize. I am now introducing, because there in Western, people only do maize and beans and maybe groundnuts. So me now I want to take this culture and take it back there, because this culture started from there. You see? So I want to take this culture back to where it began. And because of that, I am investing heavily on machineries, because this thing, it's only now because it's raining, but without watering and irrigation, you will not have this.
Do you have a stream nearby here?
The beauty about this area is that we have water here, natural water. So what I did is I invested in piping. And here, there's pipes all over. From there to the end of the farm, I did piping, proper piping. So during sunny season, we irrigate. So there will be always, and there's always mboga in this farm. Maze uko inje, don't waste time. Mi nime travel. I've traveled around the world. I've seen people in other parts of the world, even here in this nation. Mtu anapanda kitu kwa ndoo. Just imagine, to save 50 bob every day for mboga. That is 1,500 per month. 1,500, you can do something. You can top up to school fees ya mtoi. Ama you can buy a uniform, ama kitabu. You see? So we need to save, we need to secure the food that we eat. But most importantly, we should know what we eat. Unajua ni nini? Unajua sokoni, I don't discourage people kununua kwa sokoni, lakini kwa soko imetolewa different places. If you can know what you can eat, panda kitu hata kwa container tu hapo kwa balcony nje. It will thrive and will eat food. And utauzia jirani. So yeah.
Wow. So what else can I add? That brings us to the end of our episode today. And remember, you too can share your story with us. Just send me an email through the email address that is on your screen. But until next time, enjoy the rest of your viewing.